Okay. Thank you all for your patience and for everyone that took the time of their schedule to join me. Welcome to a special agenda. Many of you are seeing me on this page and not the page that I normally am on, which is a special agenda. Um, Funny story, only not funny. Oh God. My device, my phone that I normally do this live on met an untimely demise. Um, it was crushed last week, the end of last week. It fell off the car and got ran over. Yeah, it was that kind of weekend. But sometimes things go differently than you expect, and you just have to accept what has happened and make life adjustments. Sometimes it will be devastating, but you can get through it. The device that I am on, I do not love yet. Uh, I lost a lot of information, and this is not something that I would have picked, but I picked it because I did not want to pay as much I paid for my last one, and it was gonna take a while to get my phone back and information. But anyway, anywho, life lesson for everybody. Learn to get through the painful things because it's gonna happen, whether we want it or not. You cannot control all of life, and I have had to deal with that. But today we're discussing something that so many of us experience, and we're not honest with ourselves about it. We just try to get through that pain, and we say that we're okay without trying to fix the problem. They say that time heals all wounds, but it depends on what those wounds are and whether those wounds are allowed to heal. There are times in life when there will be things that are devastating that will happen, but they won't all heal the way that we want sometimes or in the time that we need. Sometimes they need assistance. And I say that because there's so many things in life that happen to us that we're told that we should get through, we should get past. For men, they are rarely given grace. They are told that they shouldn't cry, that makes them weak. There are lots of other derogatory things that people say. Even in the loss of a family member, their parents, they're told that they should get through it. They should be okay. And if there's something that happened in their past, they're told that they should put your chin up and move on. In certain circumstances, because of childhood trauma, sometimes people that we love, um, parenting the way that they knew to parent, or assisting in parenting the way they knew to parent, based on what we'd learned years ago. And understanding mistakes were made because as we become adults ourselves, we begin to realize the mistakes that we've made with our own children in hopes those that care about our children are active in their lives, that they will forgive us. See, the thing about being a parent and a human, our Heavenly Father understands that we are not perfect, even though He is. He has given us grace that we forget to give. Doesn't mean that giving grace in the process of being a human and a parent mean that everyone that has done us harm, we should forgive with the understanding that we should continue to expose ourselves. That's something to think about. Because one thing that we have to consider is loving someone and being forgiving of their humanity is a beautiful and wonderful thing that our Heavenly Father does expect for us to be considerate of. But He does not expect for us to continue to expose ourselves to people who are unrepentant in their wrongdoings. If one recognizes that they have done harm to you, or they refuse to acknowledge it, and they stand on that, and what they realize is unhealthy, they have no intentions of making adjustment. What will this do to you psychologically? Will this put you in a mindset in which you are unhealthy yourself to the ones that you will be taking care of? Will you stand on their principles even if you see that they are unhealthy? Or will you continue to expose yourself and your loved ones? Or will you free yourself of that reasoning? The Bible encourages us to understand that there are those who are bad association. And that it is someone that you have to be mindful of who spoils useful habits. Do we have to protect and heal ourselves, even of friendships that at some point we begin to realize are not just toxic and unhealthy, they are dangerous? Many of us have heard the terms that we have to be mindful of putting our children in the care of people who are angry with us or do not like us, maybe jealous of you. Because those individuals may not have a problem with harming who you love to get even with you. So, of those things, we have to be mindful that putting yourself repeatedly in those situations means you won't be healed, because you cannot heal a wound that continues to be re injured. If you continue to have that environment, it won't get better, because the individuals that you're hoping to heal from are the ones who continue to hurt you. They're fine with doing what they're doing because in their mind, this is acceptable. But here's something I want you to think about. Those individuals may be hurting themselves and incapable of doing better because they may not be in a mindset where they understand why those behaviors are not okay. If you have special needs children, you have to be mindful that putting them in with people that you love, but do not correct in the way that you know will be healthy for your young ones and for yourself, because the children aren't the only ones who have to deal with the aftermath of that. You have to deal with the aftermath that you have willingly put your children with people who you knew couldn't do it, even if they really wanted to be of help. Would you allow your toddler to drive a car that they couldn't even see over the steering wheel because you didn't want them to be angry at you? Because you wanted them to like you? Because you didn't want them to be upset? Because you wanted them to continue to love you? No, because they could hurt themselves and others. So it was quite clear that they did not have sound reasoning. They weren't capable. And they weren't capable of understanding the danger that they would put themselves and others in. Even if you gave them a deep personal explanation and how much you love them, sometimes you just have to keep it simple and say no. Some people have the mindset of toddlers based on their own mental well being, based on what they've been taught, and they cannot unteach themselves. So sometimes we have to change our own mind. We have to put ourselves in a place in which we comprehend emotionally that because you love them, you have to change the dynamic of how you interact with them. If that means they're family members who you love, but you know they can't handle what they're requesting, you keep their interaction brief. You don't need to say things that will hurt people because if that hurt won't change what they understand, if it won't help with their reasoning, if it won't resolve the problem, if it will create more confusion, just keep it brief. Unnecessary pain is still there. Unnecessary. So healing ourselves means changing our mind, not putting ourselves in positions where we continually expose our injury. Because if you don't cover it, if you don't clean it of the atmosphere or the debris or what was in it that will cause it to get worse, you are indeed self harming, not self healing. Give yourself permission to know that not exposing yourself and your family to situations that are dangerous does not mean you don't love those people because you're not doing it the way in which other people makes them feel that you should. Let go of that. Pray. Show them the love that you can the way that you need to so that you can heal, so that you can be healthy, so that your family can stay healthy. Because intentionally exposing yourself and your family to things that puts them in danger, our Heavenly Father does hold us accountable for intentional sin, for intentional things. You all be kind to each other. Have a wonderful night. Thank you so much for taking the time to join me with a special agenda. Be kind to each other. Be loving. Do it the way that you need to. Do it if you know it's not going to be reciprocated sometimes or understood. Because kindness is a choice. Thank you so much for joining me again. Have a great night. Love each other.